I want you to think about languages for a minute, the different languages of the world, and all of them. Some of them are listed on this slide. We have Spanish, Japanese, Arabic, French, Bulgarian, Russian, Tagalog, and Finnish, and of course, lots of others even listed there. You probably speak one of these, I'm guessing, and maybe learning another one in school. You know, there are over 7,000 languages spoken in the world today. I didn't know that. A few weeks ago, I talked about different Bible translations, and that was only Bible translations in English. There are probably hundreds of Bible translations just in English, and portions of the Bible have been translated into about 3,500 languages, so about half of all the languages in the world. So how did we get all these languages? Well, slide 2. We need to go back to Genesis, the book of beginnings. Remember that the word Genesis means beginning. We know that in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth and everything on the earth, and he said it was all very good. But pretty soon, 3 major things happened that made it not very good anymore. Can you name these 3 major events when things started to go wrong? I'm guessing you can think of at least 2 of them. Here's a clue. The first 2 start with the letter F, and the third one doesn't. Okay, so what is the first thing that started to go wrong right in the beginning? It is the fall. Slide 3. Of course, we don't mean the season of autumn, the fall. It's called the fall of man or the fall of humanity because it was man and woman, of course. When God told Adam and Eve they could eat the fruit from every tree except one, and guess what? Satan deceived them and they disobeyed, and they ate the fruit from that tree. Then they had to leave the Garden of Eden. That was the fall. The second terrible thing that went wrong was the flood, another F word. Then a few chapters later in Genesis, after the fall, humanity had become so evil that it says that everyone's thoughts were only evil all the time. And God brought a massive flood and destroyed everyone on the earth except 8 people. Okay, have you figured it out yet? What is the third major thing that went wrong? Not yet. Sometimes people forget about this one. Here's another clue. Remember that Tracy told us a couple weeks ago that we don't have to travel to do missions. And that's definitely true. We can tell people about the hope of the coming kingdom anytime, anywhere. But sometimes we do travel to other countries where people speak different languages. And when I've gone on mission trips where I don't speak the language and we need translators, I've often thought, boy, this event or thing really did a number on us. So what event is it? You probably guessed by now. Next slide. It is the Tower of Babel or Babel, the Tower of Babel. This is the third thing, the third major thing that went wrong just a few chapters after the flood. Genesis 11 says that the whole earth at that time had a common language and common words. In other words, everyone in the world at that time spoke the same language. Imagine that. No need for translation. Everyone spoke the same language. So what happened? How did we get here from there? Slide number 6. Genesis 11. It says, when the people moved eastward, they found a plain in the land of Babylonia and settled there. Then they said to one another, come, let's build ourselves a city and a tower with its top in the heavens, so that we may make a famous name for ourselves. Otherwise, we will be scattered across the entire earth. Notice that they wanted to be famous. They had a lot of pride and not good pride, these humans. And also note that they all wanted to settle in one place and not spread over the earth. This was in direct disobedience to God's command a couple chapters earlier in Genesis 9:1, where God had told people to be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. Okay, so what happened next? Slide 7.
That one?
Yes, Genesis 11:5-7, this is. It says, but the Lord came down to see the city and the tower that the people had started building. And the Lord said, If as one people all sharing a common language they have begun to do this, then nothing they plan to do will be beyond them. Come, let's go down and confuse their language so they won't be able to understand each other. Notice that these people thought they were building a tower to heaven. Remember, they said, let's make a famous name for ourselves and we will build a tower to the heavens. But God and the angels had to go down. They went down to see it. And also, this was probably a pagan worship temple. Perhaps at the top of it, they may have built a temple at the top of the building to pagan gods, which would be obviously false. If it's not the one true God, the only true God, our Father, then that would be a false God. So that is also part of the reason this tower was so evil. Not just the pride and the fame, the arrogance, but also the pagan worship. Okay, so what happens next? Next slide. So it says, the Lord scattered them from there across the face of the entire earth. They stopped building that city. That is why its name was called Babel, because there the Lord confused the language of the entire world, and from there the Lord scattered them across the face of the entire earth. So it was named Babel or Babel. It's like Babylonia, Babylon, because there God confused the language of the entire world. Remember, they all used to speak the same language. So Babel means confusion, and it even sounds like our English word Babel, spelled a bit differently, B-A-B-B-L-E. You know, when a baby or a toddler babbles, it is very confusing. They sound like they're really trying to say something, but we don't know what it is. Or sometimes, even if we hear an adult speaking a foreign language, it sounds like babble to us because we don't understand what they're saying.
Is there a connection? What's it called?
The word origin.
Etymologically with Babylonia?
I looked it up and it didn't say that in the dictionary.
Do you know?
But
Yeah, there's a connection.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Etymologically, there's a connection.
It makes sense, yeah, because the word Babel, B-A-B-E-L.
Well, in Babylon, the gate of the Ishtar gate.
Mhm.
Babylon, I don't know what the connection is, but you know, Babel and Babylon, yeah, there's a connection there. And if I might correct you, if you don't mind me correcting you, the whole world didn't speak the same language.
Okay.
One
area.
Yes, because whoever conquered the people, or Nimrod conquered the people, they were forced to learn the Hamitic language for the building of the tower.
Okay.
Okay. So they all in one area. This word, what is it? Eretz.
Eretz.
Eretz
Can
means
mean-
earth
Can mean earth,
in
or
Hebrew.
it can mean
Yeah.
land, or it can
Right.
mean region.
Right.
Okay.
So
It depends
Right,
on the
right.
context.
yeah.
Okay.
So it was
Yeah.
just a regional thing that everybody spoke the same language.
Okay. What language did you say it was?
Hamitic
Hamitic.
and Hamitic.
Hamitic. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Hey, come in.
Well, I have here from the internet the original derivation of the name Babel. Also, the Hebrew name for Babylonia is uncertain. The native Akkadian, is that right?
What?
Akkadian name of the city was Bab Elim,
Babylon,
gate.
yeah.
meaning gate of God. So
We're just doing the youth lesson. So come in. Come in.
Youth lesson?
Yeah, we're doing it right now.
all right,
Okay.
Next-
So
next
where
slide.
was I?
Oh, yeah.
Isaiah 19.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so that is the third major thing that went wrong with the world, the Tower of Babel,
Yep.
even back in Genesis. But like the other things that have gone with the world, wrong with the world, God and Jesus will put it right in the kingdom. All right, slide 9. So there are some verses that sound like the Tower of Babel, what went wrong there is going to be put right. It's going to be reversed. Like a lot of other things are going to be reversed. So slide 9 is Isaiah 19:18. Would you like to read that one?
Yep. On that day, 5 cities in the land of Egypt will speak the language of Canaan and swear allegiance to the Lord, that is Yahweh Jehovah of heaven's armies.
Remember, when we see a prophecy like this, we have to ask ourselves, is this happening now? Well, I would say no. On that day is code language for the future day of the kingdom of God on earth. It says, on that day, 5 cities in the land of Egypt will speak the language of Canaan and swear allegiance to the Lord of heaven's armies. Is this happening now? I don't think so. I don't think they're sharing the same language, and I don't think they're swearing allegiance all to the one true God. Swearing allegiance is like when you in school sometimes pledge allegiance to the flag.
Right.
So these people will be swearing allegiance to the one true God, the Father.
Right. In other words, the nation of Israel is not doing that. the
No,
moment.
not the whole nation of Israel or the whole nation of Egypt. And they're certainly not doing it together in harmony. They're not worshiping.
Actually, Israel is known as one of the most secular nations right now, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right. There's definitely not worshiping the
No
one
God.
true God in Israel in general. All right, so that is one prophecy. So it also suggests that there may be a new language in the kingdom, for all we know. Maybe we'll speak our own native languages and also a brand new language that God will invent. But anyway, we won't have trouble communicating with each other. The confusion that we have now with languages. Because what language do they speak in Egypt today?
Egyptian?
No, that would be Arabic. And what language or languages are spoken in Israel today, which would be what
Israeli?
it calls Canaan? That would be Hebrew, but the other official language of Israel is also Arabic. There are two, apparently. So they do sometimes speak the same language. Anyway, in the kingdom, we won't have confusion between languages because Babel will be reversed. All right, there's another verse that also sounds like the effects of the Tower of Babel are going to be reversed in the future and put right again, and that is Zephaniah 3:9.
Then I will make the people of all nations speak a pure language. All of them will speak the name of the Lord, and they will worship me together.
Right, is that happening now? All nations are worshiping God together, the one true God? I don't think so. Some people from different nations are, I would say. But it says, I will make them speak a pure language. So it sounds like maybe there will be a brand new language in the kingdom, possibly, or at least we won't have the confusion that we have now. We won't need translators. We'll understand each other and it will be put right. Okay, one more verse that shows that it will be put right. Daniel 7:14.
All the people, nations, and populations of every language will serve Jesus. His rule will last forever, and his kingdom will never be destroyed.
All right. So again, we have to ask ourselves, is this happening now? Is his rule lasting forever? Is his kingdom now? And is it never going to be destroyed now? And are all the people and nations and people of every language in the world, are they all serving Jesus? No. I think we all know the answer to that one. So that means, is it going to happen in the future because God said it? Yes.